All right, guys, hey, thanks for checking out my video of the 2024 Lexus GX550 Overtrail Plus. And I'm gonna break it down for you guys, but with a little bit of history first. So I first saw this and introduced it at the New York Auto Show a couple years back. And now that it's in full production and at dealerships nationwide, we got our hands on one to fully test it out. There's a lot to talk about with this new GX550, and if you think about the competitive segment with the Land Rover Defender, we're talking about two vehicles that are both in that luxury SUV category, but really talking about capability off-road, right? So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna dig in, and we're gonna tell you guys right now, is the Lexus GX550 Overtrail worth the hype? When I first saw the Lexus GX550 Overtrail Plus with all that nomenclature at the New York Auto Show, you can throw all that out the window. The very first thing I noticed with this vehicle was this exterior design. And for this new GX platform that's hit the market, this thing is awesome. Everyone's moving to a squared box look. You can just see it. The front comes up, it comes down, it comes up, it comes over, then it drops down. You got the Hyundai Santa Fe, you got the Land Rover Defender, you've got the Land Cruiser in the market. You got a lot of vehicles that are going for that squared out look. And what Lexus did with this new platform is they wanted to come to market with a vehicle that is not only a vehicle that typifies Lexus's high-end, luxury, opulent performance and interior, right? A vehicle that is the epitome of luxury, but they really wanted to stand out from the crowd and say, this is meant to go off-road. And with the overlanding crowd and the overlanding industry growing so much right now, the Land Cruiser, which is its sibling, is a great option for those that want to enter into the market from an off-road standpoint. Of course, 4Runner and others as well under that Toyota banner. But if you want that luxury and ability to go off-road, you're going to want it with this vehicle right here. And that exterior design really typifies itself. So let's start up here at the front. New on the model year, if you go with the Overtrail Plus, you're going to get 33-inch Toyo Open Country tires. These are the all-terrain tires right here. And if you just read down here on it, these are the 265/70s. They're riding on 18-inch wheels, and they went with this beautiful black exterior wheel because that just gives you that more aggressive look. As you make your way up over the side of the vehicle on your front three-quarter, they're going to give you this plastic on the side. You go, plastic, luxury vehicle, why isn't it the same color? No, you need this because if you're out off-roading, you want to make sure that you're protecting the actual paint of the vehicle with this nice big plastic arch here over the wheel well. Plenty enough wheel space as well so that you can articulate this vehicle when you're out off-roading. And as you make your way down the side, a couple things that I really want to point out that are cool. Right here. This is going to be your rock guard. It's not necessarily meant for you to step inside the vehicle. You kind of have to step sideways. So this is a real functional rock guard. Not only does it protect the undercarriage of the vehicle, but the side of the vehicle as well. A lot of people, when they're out off-roading, they're going to articulate. You're going to come over a boulder and then drop down, and that boulder could hit the side of the vehicle. Again, you're protecting the side of the vehicle with this rock guard, rock rail feature as well. And then you got the plastic right along the side as well. Again, thinking about protecting the vehicle all the way from the front, all the way down to the back of the vehicle. And then as we continue our way down, you're going to see our ability to articulate that suspension here on the rear of the vehicle. We're going to dig into the actual suspension attributes in a minute, carrying those 33s all the way down and the plastic line. I want to talk about the floating roof for a second as well. You know, we see this beautiful color on the side, and then everything along the top is black, and that's creating this floating element to the roof line. Gives the vehicle more of a sophisticated look. And before we move on from exterior design, I want to talk about these mirrors right here. Of course, you've got your safety sensors and radars and cameras all built into the side, but this is a nice big mirror. So when you're off-roading, you actually have more visible area to see inside this mirror. And I do like the idea that they went with black, black, black down below. It really fits the design element of this as well, giving it just a much more pronounced look. The crown jewel of the 550 Overtrail Plus is the front end. I just think that when you look at a vehicle, the very first thing you're going to identify with is how the front of the vehicle looks. And with that design coming up over the front with the hood and dropping down, I want to kind of talk about hood. We kind of come up over the top, we drop down, we kind of arch back up. It gives it more of an aggressive look with the vehicle. And then as you make your way down, you've got, you know, that statement piece from Lexus with the design, of course, the logo in front, cameras here. And then you come down, you got your radar. And again, more of that plastic wrapping around the entire bottom of the vehicle. And what that's doing is giving that front end protection as well. But as you stand back and you look at this vehicle, you're seeing just an aggressive front, right? I always talk about the front of Lexuses. If you think about the movie Predator, when the Predator opens its mouth, I swear, it's like that Predator mouth opening, and I think that just gives a Lexus much more of a pronounced look in the competitive segment. You think I'm here to tell you about the LED lights. Okay, I will give you the quick summary. New LED lights, of course, on the new GX model as well, and they're great, but I'm actually here to show you the side of the vehicle, and that's because the width of the GX Overtrail Plus is actually about 4.5 inches wider than the previous GX, and over the standard GX, which currently sits an inch shorter than that. So with the Overtrail, they're gonna give you a little bit more width. And the overhang here in the front actually decreases by 1 inch, and that's to give you more ground clearance when you're out off-roading. All right, so here we go. Under the hood of the GX550, you're gonna have two different powertrain options. This is the 3.4-liter twin-turbocharged V6, and it's pushing out 349 horsepower with 479 pounds-feet of torque, and it's married with a 10-speed automatic transmission. The engine or powertrain that's not available just yet is going to be that hybrid powertrain that's going to be coming here in the very near future. There's no doubt that's going to be based on the iForce Max powertrain from Toyota, so expect the numbers to be the same. You're going to get an increase in horsepower and an increase in torque with that hybrid powertrain. The chassis of the GX550 is actually based on the current version of the LX600. So there's one thing you can count on, that's going to be a nice rigid chassis for on-road driving, and that's because most LX consumers, GX consumers, Lexus owners and buyers aren't going to be taking it off-road. But with that said, from an off-road capability standpoint, you want that rigidity in your frame to let all the suspension do the work. If the suspension is articulating and you have a solid frame, you're going to continue to make good contact with the ground, but most importantly, everyone on the inside of the GX is going to ride in comfort. All right, so to show off the suspension the best, we wanted to articulate it a little bit. Now, on the rear, you have a multi-link rear suspension, and it's been newly designed for this vehicle right here. So as you come in and take a look closer, you can see a little bit of it in here, but of course, you're not seeing big, loud, pronounced shocks like Bilstein or Fox Factory. These are all developed in-house by Toyota, because it is a Toyota. And they do carry over DNA from their TRD side of the house. Up on the front, you've got a double wishbone setup up here on front, but as you can see, we purposely put it up on this hillside so you can see the back start to move up and the front to drop down, and that just shows that you can fully articulate off-road with this suspension system. An adaptive variable suspension, or AVS, will be offered as an option on the GX. Basically, in English, what that means is the vehicle will automatically control its suspension and ride height based on the type of terrain that you are, crossing over, kind of off-roading that you're doing. It'll just adjust on its own. All right, so let's talk about the off-road functionality and capabilities of the GX550 Overtrail specifically. So you're gonna get all four-wheel drive all the time. You're gonna get 4 high, you're gonna get 4 low. You're gonna get a locking center differential, which will lock out front and rear, and you'll have the ability to lock out just the rear. So that locking rear differential is gonna play a big role in how you tackle that terrain. And the beauty is that on the inside, it's all push button, right? There's nothing that's needed to be done outside the vehicle. It's been years since we've had to go out and lock hubs. So you're gonna be able to do that all from the inside of the vehicle. One of the features that stands out to me the most is actually the rock crawl feature. And that's gonna set the vehicle up to actually crawl for you. You're not gonna have to hit the gas pedal. You're gonna actually put it in that rock crawl mode, and the vehicle itself is just gonna slowly crawl up that obstacle. And for the serious off-roader, when you're out there in the element, how do you tackle that obstacle? You've got your approach, you've got your breakover, and then you've got your descent. And so you have to manage and mitigate the front of the vehicle, know what your articulation degrees are. So in the front, meaning going up, you have 26 degrees of approach. Your breakover is at 24 degrees of approach, meaning breaking over. And then your exit, which is the back of the vehicle, as you come down the hill, the back of the vehicle is set at 21 degrees. Who's ready to check out the cargo capacity and what's inside the rear deck lid of this Lexus GX550? All right, so you guys ready for some interesting stuff? Come on in here closer. So the GX comes in 6 different trim levels. 2 of those are meant for off-roading, Overtrail and Overtrail Plus, but then you have luxury, premium, etc., your base as well. So this is a 3-row luxury SUV. only on those other 4 trim levels. But the Overtrail and Overtrail Plus do not come with that 3rd row, and that's because you're gonna need all this cargo capacity area to store your gear. What's interesting, we'll call it a Easter egg, if you will, is that Lexus didn't switch out the quarter panels on the inside based on whether it was a 3-row or not a 3-row. So you still have your cup holders here if you want them. Maybe you're tailgating, maybe you're out off-roading, and you can put your drinks right there, but you do not get the 3rd row on the inside of this. With that said, plenty of cargo capacity on the inside and a privacy panel just to hide all your gear. All right, inside, I'm gonna start with this beautiful GX, is the fact that their engineers and designers fully thought out how they wanted to design the interior of this vehicle. It's luxury, but with ruggedness, and I love that. Like, I'm an off-road guy, and I want luxury too. Like, mama want luxury, dad wants off-road, and you get that on the inside. So let's just go through it all. Let's start with just the overall design and functionality. So you've got, follows in line with the whole vehicle, right? A flat dash, it drops down. It gives you that rugged look. It's not floating, it's not pushed out. It's just a nice, clean dash, but they thought it out, right? So like if you're on the road and you want to drop your cell phone in here, like you got a spot for the passenger. Passengers always get forgotten in vehicles. So if you just, let's just focus on the dash, right? So nice, easy, clean area on the dash with your air vents, some storage area, this massive new 14-inch screen that is all new for this vehicle. I'm 6'3". I can touch everything in here, and of course I've got my integrated Apple CarPlay already loaded into this GX550. Heated and cooling seats, you've got all your air functions. We'll crank it up so you can just hear it for a second. We've got the air functions, and even paying attention to the details as well on this vehicle with your heating and cooling dials here. They got this cool color integrated on the inside, if you can see that as well. It just really helps it stand out. And then there's not a lot of clutter. Your center console that makes its way down here, there's not a lot of clutter, and they've got this faux wood design in here. You've got your cigarette lighter, because I refuse to call it your multifunction adaptable power outlet. But you've got this cigarette adapter in here, 2 USB-Cs, one's for charging, one is for connecting to the vehicle, so you get that functionality as well. And then you get your drive modes, right? So right here is where the heartbeat is. You've got drive modes, and when you hit these selectable buttons with your drive mode, they're gonna pop up on your screen. You've got that Sport S, you've got that Sport Plus, changes colors and dynamic, you got custom, and then you can go back down to your normal, comfort, and eco. Right here, this is actually a sensor and camera that's watching your eyes and your body. They're making sure that you're paying attention while driving. And then you've got paddle shifters, because I have put it in sport mode, and those paddle shifters are fantastic. So you have all of that integrated in as well. And then back on the center console, we talked about your drive modes. You've got your MTS mode, your crawl mode, tow haul mode. And then as you make your way down, this is where all of your real off-road features are. So you've got 4 high, 4 low, and then you've got your center locking differential and your rear locking differential. These are all great features that if you want to get into off-roading, you're going to be able to do with this vehicle. And then last but not least, I'm going to grab my cell phone and drop it back in here. Here's what I really dig about the wireless induction area on the GX is that my phone is still close to me, right? Like, it's charging right now. It's not buried away. There's something comfortable about having my phone accessible to me. And then as I open up your center console, you've got your cool box. You're gonna be able to make it cool on the inside by hitting this button right here. And you can put anything on the inside that's gonna keep it nice and cooled down. Let's talk a little bit about the seats and the creature comforts. It's a Lexus, right? So your seats are comfortable. They're designed well. You got heating and cooling seats. It just feels good on the inside. And then if you look at both of the door panels, you can see the Martin Levinson speaker right there. It just tells you that they've gone all high quality on the inside of this vehicle. And then of course you're gonna mix in, you know, all of Toyota's safety features, all of Lexus's safety features. Again, sibling vehicle is the Land Cruiser. So you're gonna have all those features on the inside of this vehicle. From a safety standpoint, front crash avoidance, rear pedestrian detection, lane departure warning, all of the things that you really want from a safety standpoint are gonna be included with this vehicle. I've got the seat all the way back for me, and it's tight, and even though you got the inserts in here, like my knees don't fit in here, Now, with that said, my kids are gonna fit in here just fine. Tyler, now at 6 foot, is probably gonna be a little tighter in the back row. But with that said, it's got the same luxury front and back row. Plenty of charging. Heated seats for the second row as well, with USB-C chargers. I do dig that. And then you got your pull down here in the center. Drop your drinks in. Again, keeping it simple in the second row of this vehicle. By the way, I also want to note, front driver, second row passenger, and to the rear, you got these mud guards here on the front and second row. I think that's great, keeping the inside of the vehicle and the carpets clean. But overall, I love the interior design. You've got great speakers. You've got window privacy as well. Block that sun out when you're on long road trips. Overall, interior is beautiful. So behind the wheel, what's the first thing that you look for when buying a vehicle? Is it really going to be for its off-road capabilities, or is it going to be more for how it handles on road? Let's just be honest. Most owners of this GX are not going to take it off-road, but they want the look and feel of having an off-road vehicle. So with that said, the driving characteristics of the vehicle on road are incredibly comfortable, and that's exactly what you would expect with the DNA from a Lexus like this. As you accelerate with that twin turbo, it is a V6, and I will tell you right now, it picks up. That twin turbo kicks in, and it's effortless when you're hitting that accelerator pedal. For me, I love it in the sport mode, so I'm gonna go ahead and shift it all the way up into Sport Plus. You're gonna hear it downshift a little bit. Just downshifted right there, giving me that extra performance aspect that I want in a vehicle. And one thing to note about your center shifter down here is that you can move it into sport mode. And when you move it into sport mode, it actually is not going to automatically shift through the gears. You actually control it with the paddles on this. And that's pretty wild that an SUV of this category, they're going to hold that red line and you have to shift it through the gears. That's pretty cool. All right, so I'm closing it out with the price. And to be perfectly honest, the price is what makes this a standout. And that's because if you look at the competitive segment, if you really want to get a fully tricked out Defender, you're going to be pushing north of 6 figures. So your starting price is right around $65,000. It's $64,250. That price is negligible. You're looking at about $65,000. With most vehicles, you're going to go through a variety of different trim levels. If you want to make it all the way up to the Overtrail Plus trim level, $77,000. It's only a $10,000 swing, plus or minus, to move into the full off-road packaging version. All right, guys, hey, we hope you loved this video on the 2024 Lexus GX550 Overtrail Plus. We hope you loved it as much as we loved testing it out and giving you guys all the details. Drop your comments below. Let us know your thoughts. Is it worth all the hype? And if you're not following us on our other social channels, please do so. Think about TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. It's all the same. @It'sMikeCaudill. All right, until the next video, keep on keeping.